From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Amarachi Ubani.
Good evening and welcome. Tonight, collection of voter cards in 12 states ends today. INEC set to announce dates for the last phase of the exercise. Civil servants in Benue State in a face-off against the government over across-the-board pay cut. Lagos State's governor in a state broadcast today raises hope of defeat of the Ebola virus disease. And protesters in Liberia ransack a quarantine center for suspected Ebola patients in Monrovia. The second phase of the distribution of permanent voter cards has ended in 12 states of the Federation. The exercise is to enable voters who have been duly registered to exchange a temporary voter card for a permanent one. The process is designed to allow voters to exercise their civic rights in the coming elections, as their names have been confirmed in INEC's updated voter register planned to be used for the 2015 general elections. Isolated distribution of the cards have taken place in the states where staggered elections have taken place in the past few months, including the just concluded W.H.O election. Voters in Lagos and in about 10 other states are expected to take part in the third phase. The first phase of the exercise took place in May with Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa and 9 other states, but the second ends today in Cross River and 11 other states. In the meantime, of course, 12 states have received their voter cards, also the Federal Capital Territory, but in Anambra and in Delta states, the exercise witnessed a large turnout. Our next report focuses on the 2 states as yardsticks for the progress of the exercise.
At first glance, one will be forgiven for thinking this crowd is looking through an examination list. But in actual fact, they're here to locate their names for the collection of the permanent voters card, an indication that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is keeping to his word on ensuring that the forthcoming general elections is a one-man, one-vote affair. For each registered voter whose name appears, then comes the verification and collection. Ward after ward, the exercise is deemed credible by voters and politicians.
People came and their cards were found. It shows that INEC has kept to its promise to make sure that registered voters get their permanent voters card. Nobody has complained, and this shows that they're also ready to conduct the 2015 general elections without any hitch.
INEC keeps on improving. This is better than the last time. Yes, I'm sure INEC is improving, and we're cooperating.
Thank you very much. The #1 citizen of Anambra State, Willie Obiano, is a grateful recipient of the exercise. Thank you.
Congratulations, Your Excellency. I encourage everybody to go pick his permanent voter's card, and more importantly, if you haven't registered before, to please make sure that you come to your nearest, anywhere you think is nearest to your house that you would like to vote in the future, to register appropriately and collect the permanent voter's card. This is a very important exercise. If you don't do it, you will be disenfranchised from voting. That means no matter what you do, your vote will not count.
His counterparts in Delta State, Imala Lodwaha, also go through the process.
It is critical that people have this voter's card. This is your power to elect anybody. And without the voter's card, you cannot vote on any election. And that is why we have been at least trying as much as possible to mobilize our people. and also making today a work-free day for all workers so that they can go and collect their voters card. The period is quite short, 3 days, and it's important that within the 3 days, everyone should collect his or her voters card.
And while both men have high hopes for a smooth election, others are doubtful.
The first day of the collection was not properly handled, in the sense that all the cards were bunched together. They were not arranged in alphabetical order. So people's names were not as such serialized, so to say. And even in the voters register, they were also staggered and didn't come serially again according to numbers of the card, the voters card.
Although the INEC deadline for collection of permanent voters cards ends today in Delta State, the Police Public Relations Officer, Delta State Command, Celestina Kalu, while assuring of adequate security for the exercise, calls on those who are yet to receive their cards to report to the electoral officers in the local government areas where they're registered. As the exercise goes on elsewhere, optimism is high that this time the bad press associated with political parties attempting to rig elections will be put under control.
Well, the second phase of the distribution has, of course, taken place, but residents of the nation's capital have appealed for an extension of the distribution of the cards by the Independent National Electoral Commission to avoid many electorates in the city from being disenfranchised. Residents who showed up to collect their permanent voter cards that's today, last day for the distribution, complained that the process was slow and disorganized at the collection points. There are also those who lamented the lack of public awareness on the distribution. They said the 3 days set aside by the electoral body is not enough to distribute the large volume of voters' cards in their custody. Our correspondent, Omelogo Nadi, reports.
Large volumes of permanent voters' cards stacked in front of 2 uniformed members of the National Youth Service Corps. That has been the common sight in the last 3 days at polling units across the Federal Capital Territory. The turnout of residents who have come to trade in their temporary voters' cards for the permanent ones at these collection points falls far short of the cards yet to be distributed, a situation some residents blamed on lack of publicity by the electoral body.
I thought it was in other states like Anambra, Ebonyi. I didn't know it was even going on in Abuja. So it was yesterday evening, they said, it will be ending today.
Look at all the cards that have not been collected. You can see them by yourself. I think the best thing they should do is, along the new registration, they should also bring this one back for the owners to come here and pick them. Because in all the booths we have visited, so many cards have not been collected already.
It's an issue of logistics. It's not properly, there's no seamless approach to this exercise for now. It's very cumbersome.
The Corps members declined to comment about the process and why it was slow. And while a few centers were orderly, the situation was completely different in others, causing confusion and disenchantment.
I was thinking maybe I'll present this and then we don't give them my card, but they're saying that they have to follow the line, and the line is not even moving. Because with this number of people now, I don't think 4 o'clock, that is the closing time, is quite feasible.
The procedure, the system they use in sorting out these things is very difficult. Yesterday I was here, but I couldn't get my temporary voter card. Temporary one. So I went home, I searched for it, I was able to get it. And since morning I've been there, and it's not getting to me.
We can't find our new registered card and our names. Even in the original copies, our names are not there. And they have referred us to booth 011. We went there. Our names are still not there. We went to booth 013. It's not there.
3 days will not be enough at all for them to round up this process. I think there should be an extension.
If the volume of undistributed permanent voters' cards in centers around the Federal Capital Territory is something to go by, coupled with the several complaints of missing names on the pay stubs, then these calls for an extension of the distribution days will be something the Independent National Electoral Commission would need to look into. Omelogo Nadi, Channels Television News.